And what I decided to do for myself is to live my life full, to do what makes me happy, to put my mask on first before I take care of others. What's up, champ? This is Gary Brackett. Some of you may know me as an NFL player, Super Bowl champion, author, transformational speaker, philanthropist, dad, or just coach. And while all those are true, my most important role is as a leader. And as a leader, my goal is to create more leaders and fewer followers. I'm going to share my championship secrets with you in order to show you how you can become a champion in every key area of your life. No matter if it's self-development, business, fitness, social relationships, intimate relationships, finances, or spirituality, I want to give you some tools that you can use to build the life of your dreams. Welcome to the Champ Builders Podcast. What's going on, champ? Welcome back to another episode of Champ Builder Podcast, and I am your host, Gary Brackett, man. And what a wonderful week it has been. Last week was pretty cool. Finished up inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, and I was honored for the first game against the Seahawks. Unfortunately, we did not get a W, but nonetheless, it was a great time. A lot of energy inside the stadium. First time it was full in over like 600 something days, so great atmosphere. And it just got me to thinking about, the decisions that I have made up until this point that put me in the position that I'm currently in. And I think we all realize, or if we haven't realized, we must realize that, our lives are just lagging indicators of the decisions that we made, up until this point. And some of the decisions that you make don't show up, don't have immediate results. I know we live in this microwave society and we want things to just happen right away, but it doesn't work that way. Things that we do, right, have ripple effects for sometimes months, years, decades inside of our lives. So what do you do? How do you make better decisions? I think for me, how I make better decisions is I live by principles. And principles are guidelines of sorts that help you really indicate what's important in your lives, and what things supersede other things. So when a decision has to be made, you're able to make a quicker decision because you already had these things figured out. You already have these things planned out. I don't know about you, but as a now single man, being able to meal prep for myself before I go home is huge in terms of it already being figured out, and I come home and don't miss a beat, as opposed to the times when I don't. Then I'm come home struggling to make a meal, then possibly don't make the best choice because I just want something fast. So by putting forth systems, principles, if you will, you kind of help yourself negate some of those things. So I'm going to list you some of my principles, some of the values that I stand by, and you can, take some, you can adjust them as you wish, but I just want to explain to you exactly how I got here. And I have 16 championship principles. So this is what we're going to discuss during this episode, 16 championship principles to help you really get over some of those barriers in your life, decision-making, make it snap. All right, you ready? Here we go. Principle number one. My principle number one is fulfillment first and then serve. We spoke about this in the previous podcast. If you haven't checked out last week's podcast. But, the world will tell you to serve, serve, serve. But you can't serve from an empty cup. So if you're not fulfilled, if you don't understand what your value systems are, if you don't understand what makes you happy, you don't understand your why for being here, then you serving is just going to be more and more distracting, more and more dreadful, more and more draining to you because, again, your cup is going to constantly get emptied. So what you need to do, and what I decided to do for myself, is to live my life full, to do what makes me happy, to put my mask on first before I take care of others. So that's why my first principle, guiding principle, is fulfillment first and then serve. A second principle I stand by. Practice gratitude in everything that you do. I'm just grateful. I can't explain. I'm just grateful for the people I have in my lives. I'm grateful for the people that showed up, and I'm grateful for the ones that didn't. So I'm grateful for everything because it's all a lesson to me. It's never a loss; it's always a lesson. So depending how or what shows up, I think every event is neutral, and we give it a meaning by how we shape that with our context. And I just choose to shape everything as for me to be grateful for it. If it's a lost friendship, then I'm grateful that I figured it out and I no longer have to deal with that person. If it's a new partnership, I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with somebody else. And if it's an opportunity to get better, to work out with somebody, all those things, I'm just grateful for opportunities to meet new people, learn new things, and continue to develop myself. And I think that mindset, when you're grateful, man, things start to get good in your life. Because when you're grateful, you'll realize you already have enough. It's when you have this desire to continue to obtain more things and you're not grateful is when life gets challenging because that thirst sometimes can never get quenched. The third principle, chase your hero. Chase your hero. Who is your hero? I remember listening to the speech by Matthew McConaughey, and he talked about his teacher asked him who his hero was. And he thought about it for a second, and he said, I don't know, give me some time. So he went home, came back the next day, and his teacher asked him, man, hey, did you figure out who was your hero? And he said, my hero is going to be me in 5 years. So he went off to college, came back home, and his teacher asked him, hey, did you do it? Are you your hero? He said, not even close. Give me 10 more years. I think I'm doing it 10 years. So 10 years, comes back again for the reunion. She asked him, hey, did you finally catch your hero? He said, man, I'm never going to catch him. It's 20 years out now. And as he continues to learn, continue to grow, expand his horizons, he realized that I'm never going to chase the best version of myself, but I have to keep chasing him. I'm never going to catch him, but I have to keep chasing him. And if we keep on chasing the best version of ourselves and never settle for where we're currently at, it's going to be a great life. It's going to be a phenomenal life. Fourth thing, live out your tombstone. Wow, it's crazy, right? Live out your tombstone. If you were going to be buried and you had to write your own obituary and it comes to the time to fill out your tombstone, what would that tombstone say? Gary Brackett, 1980 dash, who knows? Here lies a man that lived his life like a champion and inspire others to do the same. Man, it's powerful. So then how do I live my life every single day to live up to that? So what is on your tombstone? What do you want to be on your tombstone? And whatever that is, you get the chance to reverse engineer it and start acting like that's going to be on your tombstone every single day. Number 5, never let someone else's perception of you become your reality. Never let someone else's perception of you become your reality. So many times we let what other people say, other people's opinions, other people's thoughts, other people's dreams, they dictate to us how we should treat ourselves. And that should not be the case. They will put their limitations on you. They will put their fears on you. They will put their limited beliefs on you. But you can't absorb that. You have to live in your own reality. Because only you know the work that you put in and the sacrifices that you made to position yourself for the success that you want to have. So don't let anyone else's perception of what they say get you down and have you figure out that your reality should be what they want it to be. Number 6, live life with purpose and intention. Live life with purpose and intention. I have this thing. If I can master my day, how do you set up yourself up for success and how do you master your day? Because if you master your day, I believe you can master your week, you can master your month, you can master your year, but it all starts with mastering your day. You master your day with purpose and intention. What goals have you set for yourself for the day? What goals have you set for yourself for the quarter? What things do you need to get accomplished? Are you writing them down? Are you keeping track? Are you measuring? Are you keeping score? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in life, you should keep score because points matter. They matter. It matters how much you weigh. It matters, right? When's the last time you've been to the doctor? It matters how much time you're spending with your significant other, how much time you're spending with your children, how many hours are you putting in work. All these things matter, and if they matter, we should measure them, then we should manage them, and we should live our lives with purpose and attention. So that's why that is my sixth principle. Number 7, what you focus on expands. What you actually focus on expands. We choose to focus on things that matter most to us. And whether there are positive things that we focus on or negative things, the more that we think about it, the more that actually expands and grows. So if you want to, get rid of negative thinking, if you want to get rid of negative emotions, start creating positive ones to replace them with. If you want to get rid of negative habits, start creating positive habits to replace them with. So what you focus on expands. So many times it's challenging to break out of a funk, break out of a habit. So I think you should do it by establishing a new one, a healthier one that's going to help you chase yourself and chase your hero and help you be able to live the life that you want. That's why I think you should focus and pay attention to what you focus on, because what you do expands. Number 8, clarity is power. Wow. Right? Clarity is power. When you have a clear vision, when you painted the picture so vivid in your mind, then it's easily attainable. Van Gogh is this artist. I went to exhibit here at the IMS, and he talked about he would dream dreams, and then he would go paint his dreams. So he'd dream his paintings and then go paint his dreams. And I think we can dream all we want to, but if we don't get up and start painting those dreams, we don't put up and start putting those pieces together and creating that powerful vision, right? And become very clear. Clarity is power on what it is we want to do. We're going to be confused, and anyone that follows us is also going to be confused. So be clear about what exactly it is you want to do. Number 9, practice addition by subtraction. Sounds funny, right? Addition by subtraction. What do you mean, addition by subtraction? I can remember we were playing this game in Kansas City. We had just lost at home. I believe it was to Jacksonville. They beat us by a field goal. We go up to Kansas City. They got like it was a great show on turf. That was St. Louis. But Kurt Warner was there, Priest Holmes, Dante Hall. Very explosive offense. I think it's one of those NFL records for a game where neither team punted. High scoring game, and we lose. So now we lost 2 games in a row. Back in our heyday, we wouldn't lose 2 games in a row. Like, it was nice, right? But losing 2 games in a row put people on notice. And on Monday, we play on Sunday. Monday, we have, I think, like a 1 o'clock meeting. And typically, guys are rolling in 12:58, 12:59, just making sure they're on time. If you're not on time in NFL, you get fined. I think that should be like a national thing, but I tried that in my workplace. They didn't like it. So, but everyone was there about 12:30, and they were nervous because when you lose in NFL, and twice, like, heads roll, people get fired. Coach Dungy comes in, and he talks about obviously not doing what we want to do, accomplishing our goals, getting a victory. But then he said, if we were in New England, 5 people get fired. If Philadelphia, 4 people. If you were at the Jets, I think Herm Edwards, it'd have been 3 people. He said, I'm not going to fire anybody. The same group that won the last 4 games in a row just lost 2 games in a row. And I hear the commotion on defense. Who's always like, yo, we need bullets. We need to be blitzing. We need exotic coverages. We need all the things. And he's like, I heard what you're saying, and guess what? We're not doing that. In fact, we're actually going to play only 4 calls, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to out-execute teams. We're not going to out-cue them. We're not going to outsmart them. We're not going to out-trick play them. We're going to go out there and beat them with execution. And that's what we did. We started beating people, execute. They know exactly where we were going to be, and they could not stop us. So how great would it be if you had a product or service, if you had a business, if you had something that they knew exactly where you were going to go and they couldn't stop you? And that's because we got very clear, and we were addition by subtraction, and we did more with less. And that happens when you subtract people out of your lives. You could then realize and go different places. When you subtract alcohol, drugs out of your life. The same thing. Bad food out of your life. There's so many things that we can subtract out of our lives, and it will add value and benefits to it. So practice addition by subtraction. Number 10, understand your opportunity costs. So I was like not a nerd in school, right? I'm too cool to be a nerd. Come on, look at me. I'm not a nerd. However, I was a business econ major at Rutgers University. I wanted to be a stockbroker. Like your boy wanted to be like on the trading places like Eddie Murphy. I wanted to be like, yo, sell. That was me. That was my vision. That was my goal. That was my dream until the NFL came about. And with that vision, in school, in economics, they talked about opportunity costs. And that's your cost of doing X over Y. So say if I'm cutting my grass and someone could cut my grass at $25 an hour, 3 hours, I'm gonna give them $70. It's called $100 to cut my grass. It's gonna take them 3.5 hours. My opportunity cost for 3.5 hours, if it's greater than that of which they're cutting my grass, then I should always choose my highest and best use. So for me, I outsource things that are commodity based, things that are low level, and I spend my time on high level thinking, high level things that I can make a significant amount of money from. And I think, in your lives is the same thing. And it's like running a business. Right now, I coach small business owners, mid-sized business owners, how they can scale their companies and how they grow, 2x their revenue and work 10 hours less a week. And how they do that is by understanding their opportunity costs and understanding how they can either automate it, they could delegate it, right? Or they can eliminate it. And when you do that and you go through that process, you'll figure out like where your highest and best use, and that's where you should spend your time at. So definitely understand your opportunity costs and understand what opportunity, what obstacles you could potentially outsource or get rid of. So then that you will always focus on your highest and best use of your time. Number 11, we talked about this before. Keep score. If you can measure it, you can manage it. Like keep score. Keep a running journal on what you're doing, how many books you're reading, how many times you're working out, what kind of foods are you eating. Like all those things matter, especially in your business. You got to be very detail oriented in terms of what your numbers are, what your KPIs, key performance indicators are, how do you track them efficiently in order for you to grow. It's so funny. So many people, how do you get leads? How do you get marketing? Referrals? Like how do you track that? I don't know. They just come in. How about we track those? How about we measure those? And how about we quantify exactly what that means? So many people like, oh, it's my gut instincts. Well, your gut could be awfully wrong. You know what's not wrong? Numbers. Like numbers aren't wrong. They tell the story. So start putting numbers down, start measuring things, start managing things, and you can improve your life. Number 12, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. If you're a leader, like raise your hand. I know you're sitting on your couch, you're like, this is weird, but just raise your hand. Like everyone should have their hands raised because the first person, the most important person, what we must lead is ourselves. And we look at that person every single day in the mirror, or at least we should. We should be brushing our teeth. But the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Like you can't be a 4 as a father and have 8 9s as kids, right? I learned it by watching you. You can't be a 6 as a CEO, as a business owner, and have a 9 as an organization. Nah, bro, they're going to look at you. They're going to see what you're doing, what you aren't doing, what you're saying. And they're going to say like, yo, that's not consistent. What you're doing is not consistent with what you're saying. So we're not buying it. So if you want to have more, you got to become more. And if your thermostat is already set, guess what? You got to reset it. You got to go outside your comfort zone, challenge yourself to reset that number. Because as you raise your temperature, the speed of the leader, everyone else will raise as well. Number 13, add value and reap the rewards. Add value and reap the reward. You don't get what you're worth. You get what you perform. You get what your value determines your worth. You get what you can actually deliver as the outcome. That's how you get paid. So if you're in a business and you're giving out an inconsistent outcome, you're going to have inconsistent revenue. However, if you're in a business, when you're giving out positive, great, earth-shattering outcomes, you're going to have positive, great, earth-shattering income. So you should get into a position to want to add valuable skills inside of your repertoire so that you can deliver better outcomes, solve bigger problems, and as you do that, your income will increase. When's the last time you got certified in something new? When's the last time you read a book outside of your field of interest? So all these things, like, this is the information age, but those that are successful now, they get past like information and they get into implementation and execution. So knowledge is great, but applied knowledge is even better. So applying knowledge, adding value, you're going to reap a tremendous reward. 14, fall in love with the process, divorce yourself from the outcome. Fall in love with the process. Winning is tough. Winning discussed, it is not fair. It doesn't. You can give it everything you got. You can work extremely hard, and you can still lose. But guess what? If you fall in love with the process, the person that you become as a result of that will put you in position more times than not to win your fair share. You won't win all the time. You won't be successful all the time. But if you fall in love with the process and you do what needs to do, and you keep on sharpening the iron over and over again, eventually you're going to chop that piece of wood, and that wood's going to break. But there's no guarantees. So that's why you have to fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love. Don't get bored doing the right things. I remember our special teams coach, Ray. I keep on forgetting his last name, but he would say it, and I would hate that expression. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? But don't get bored doing the right things. And he was so right. He was so right. He was on it. Like, yo, it's the same things, consistency, right? Consistency over and over again. That's how you breed success. So fall in love with the process, not getting bored, not getting off course, being disciplined. That's how you're going to reap your massive benefits. 15, have kindness to yourself always. Look, I know we made mistakes. I know I know I've done things that I'm not proud of. No, I've said things I'm not proud of. But you have to be kind to yourself. You have to give yourself the same kindness and grace that you show everyone else. You can't constantly punish yourself for decisions that were made 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. You cannot live inside of that body for that long. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to go through some healing. And you have to tell yourself and prove to yourself by showing up every day, being consistent, that you deserve better. Because your mindset, those limited beliefs, if they don't go away, you're never going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So you have to be kind to yourself. You have to be understanding with yourself. You have to constantly give yourself grace. 16, go the extra mile. It's never crowded. It's never crowded. Like when you remember in gym class had to run that mile, and I see my kids doing it now. Like they run the mile and kids are gone. That's it. But some kids who run cross country, they stay out there. So the track, when they run it in their school, is crowded. And it's crowded because everyone is trying to run that four laps. And once that 4 laps are done, everyone is gone. After those 4 laps is gone, like that's when the champions are built. That's the people that are continuously going. And I think like falling in love with the process, putting in that extra amount of work is going to set you up for success that you want in your life. I can remember being in college, and we would have all these speakers come and speak to us, and they would ask us like, "Yo, how many people want to play in the NFL?" And like every locker room, probably everywhere in college and high school, everyone's raising their hands, right? We're all dumb jocks, unless you think that. And then they say, "What separates you from the person to your right or your left who's raising their hand?" Like, what additional work are you putting in that's making you more deserving to get to that position to then? And when you start to think about that, like, what are you doing in your life, in your marriage, in your fitness and health, that for you to deserve results that you haven't worked for? Doesn't work like that. Like, be able to be in a position to sow seeds today that you're going to be able to reap at a later date. And when you go the extra mile, when you put in additional work, your life will start to change. When you start making sacrifices and reading books and going to conferences and getting mentors and coaches instead of watching Netflix and going to pizza and everything else, your life will begin to change. Like, we're all one decision away. One decision away. And I gave you 16 principles that you can apply in your life that can help you make that one decision that can change the trajectory of not only your life, but your family's lives as well. Because like I said, for me, I'm good. My family's going to be good. And my goal as a leader is to create more leaders, not to create more followers. So if you're one of them, I want you to share below what principle spoke to you to most and why, and then give me a principle that you live by. I mean, I think we're all learning from each other. So share that in the comments below, and make sure that you sign up for our Facebook group. We're going to have some Q&As and some other type of events. You're not going to miss them. So go to facebook.com and go to Champions Huddle, and you can join our Facebook group and have more conversations on principles, on life, on business, on anything and everything that is required for you to become a champion. All right, this is it for this episode, and I'm going to catch you on the next episode of the Champ Builders Podcast. Y'all take care.